Thank you for reaching out to us. Please subscribe at the end of the video. Today we want to talk about how the internet works. A number of people are making money from the internet, but they don't know how it works. Surprisingly. So today let's talk about how the internet works. So the internet is the backbone of the web, like a technical infrastructure that allows computers to connect together and share information among themselves. So basically, this is what it takes. So anything you do on the internet, the device is a computer onboarding on the internet infrastructure. So when you want to share your TikTok video with your friends, you want to advertise your business, you want to access your social media application, yeah, onboarding on the internet. So you're accessing a particular resource on the internet. So we are getting information from one computer that is already on the internet and your own computer, which is already on the internet too. So sending out requests to other computer and then receiving information from those computers too. So basically something like this. This is it. You can see network of computers. When you have two computers connected together, you have a computer network. So you can see a light illustration showing you information being sent from one continent to another globally. Information being sent globally. You can see, so that's internet for you. So the history of internet is it began in it. You don't need that. You just want to know how it works. So you can see when two computers need to communicate, you have to link them together. So basically, when you want to send information or you see information from one computer, there should be a connection, there should be a link. So this link can either be a physical link or through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, as we all know. You can see an illustration, an Ethernet cable. So what is an Ethernet cable? This is an example of an Ethernet cable. So this is the cable that is usually being connected between two computers. Something like this. Ethernet cable. So it allows information, data to be sent from one computer to another. That's what we call an Ethernet cable. Used to connect computing device. So that's how we connect two computers. However, you might want to connect two, or you might want to connect multiple computers. Yeah? So how do you go about that? If you want to connect plenty of computers, you have many computers, you want to share information among them. So how do you do that? Okay, to connect this another cable, you connect then you start connecting again, everything will be messy. So there's a pattern you have to follow. You can see if you are trying to connect say 10 computers, you will need 45 cables and 9 plugs per computer. So this is how it will look like, and this is so messy. So you don't want to do that. So to solve this, we are using what we call a router. You see, a router job is to you see this router is his job is to configure or to route. Let me put it that way. That's the better. It will route information from one cable to another cable. So basically, this is what you get. So when you use a router, this is what you get. This is what you get when you use a router. This is an example of a router. You can see this is how it looks like. It's a computer device, a computing device that allows information to be shared between two or more networks. You can see, you can see. That's a router. This is a router. You can see a tiny computer. Each computer on a network is connected to it makes sure that message sent from one computer arrives to another destination. You can see his job is to route information from one computer to another. To send a message to computer B, computer A must send the message to the router. So this is it here. A sends information to the router sends it to it. This sends it to router sends back sends back the information back to K. So this so instead of having a system that is uh, messy like this, you have something like this through the use of router. So that's the job of a router. You can see case study of router. This is how it looks like. You can see. So you this is where you plug the cable. You can see you plug the Ethernet cable. That's how you use a router. So what if you have information you want to access other networks? Are you telling me that all this information that we are sharing will be restricted to this network? No, we are going to have network of network. What do you mean by network of network? When you want to access information from another computer which is located in this is a network like this. This is a network. You have information here, you can access it. You can have another network and you need information from that network. How do you access that? Then that's when you use what we call router. You see, connecting hundreds, billions of single router. So it doesn't make sense. So you can connect multiple routers together. You can see routers to routers. You can connect routers to routers. So when you connect router to router, you are accessing information in a larger scale. So that's it. You can have more than one routers connected. You can see you can have routers connected to each other. You can see. So basically, when we access information on the network, we go through the router. So the router is in charge of ensuring that our information reach the computer we want to access information from. Because basically, when you let's say I go to this developer Mozilla, I'm accessing information from another computer, and for me to get to that information, the router does the job of ensuring that what my request meets this computer, and then I get this function. Now, there's something I want to explain to you. This information that we are accessing, information we are accessing from one computer to another, the primary, yeah, the primary service is being rendered by what we call ISP, Internet Service Provider. You see, the job of the Internet Service Provider is to make sure that when we are on a network and we need information from another network, the internet service provider ensures that we get that information. So when we make a request, we can't do anything on the internet without the internet service provider. You can see there are other networks out there, your friends, your neighbors, anyone can have their own network. It is not really possible to set cables up between your house and the rest of the world. You get that? That you can't set your own the way you set your Ethernet cable here, you can't just connect to them. You can't connect to them. So you need there you can see here how can you handle this. There are already cables linked to your house. Yeah, this cable now, let's talk about this cable now. You see, when you share information or when you request for information on the internet, the internet service providers are the one in charge. They are the one that allow you see when you connect to the internet telephone. How do you connect to internet service provider? When you use your internet, you use your modem. You use your modem. You use your modem. That's you can use your modem. You are using modem now because let's say you are using modem. You connect your modem to your system. Then through your modem you have internet on your computer. So you are able to make use of internet information because you have your modem. So the job of a modem is to turn information from our network into information managed by the user. Basically, this is just talking about your internet service provider. This modem now this modem is being provided by your internet service provider. So can see example of modem. Use a modem. You can see short for modulator, the modulator component that allows a computer or another. You might not use a modem depending on what you use on your internet service provider. The job is to allow a computer or device such as a router. You see, you can see the router or switch to connect to the internet. You can see that our router that we have here. I already show you here this router now. For you to connect to other network, you need what? You need modem or your ISP. You need your ISP. So that's where ISP comes in. So it's it converts or modulates an analog signal from a telephone cable wire that a computer you can see telephone cable or telephone or cable wire to digital ones and zeros that a computer can recognize. When you see ones and zeros, it's basically information you see on the internet. All the information you see on the internet, whether your business ad, everything, they are all ones and zeros. Similarly, it converts digital data from a computer or other devices to another. So that's the work of the modem. So the modem ensures that the information are being sent from our network into manageable form by the telephone infrastructure. What do you mean? What do you mean by telephone infrastructure? Now, we are talking of base stations. When we say telephone infrastructure, you don't know what we mean. Internet service providers. Internet service providers. Wait, let me explain something to you. We are connected to the telephone infrastructure. That's you understand the internet service provider infrastructure. When you see something like we are talking of internet service provider infrastructure, the next is so when you send message from our network to the network we want to reach, our internet service provider ensure that some special routers connect to other ISP routers. So let's say I'm using MTN now, ISP. MTN ensure that my request goes from their own router to they route my request to a particular, let's say I want to access google.com. They ensure that that information is being routed to Google network. Yes, they will onboard me into Google network. They will onboard my request into Google network. So then when the information is being received by Google, Google processes it and gives back what I asked, and then it returns back to my own network, from Google's network to my own network. So message from my network is carried through network of ISP networks. Then so the internet is made up of infrastructure of networks, many ISP networks. You can see these are ISP1, routing information, ISP2, routing information into ISP2. That's another ISP of another region. So that's how information is being sent, and then I later receive the information. That's how the information. Don't forget, if you want to know how they locate each computer, you are going to say internet. If you send a message to a computer, you have to specify which one. So there is a unique address that represents each computer that is being onboarded on the internet. This IP address being provided by the internet service provider. You can see it's a four number. It's unique to you. Whenever you have a device, all device have what we call a MAC address. It has a media access. Uh, a particular media access a digit. It's a particular digit that is attached to every device. So through this device, an IP is generated, and this IP is internet protocol. So there's a kind of process that occur there. Sha. Don't forget, we are not concerned about that. So what we are concerned is this IP address is unique to you, is unique to this device. So it's a unique address that is attached to any computer, either your phone, your computer. Everyone has my own computer. Everyone has their own IP address. So it is this address that is being located So whenever I request Google, let's say I ask google.com, I want to go to google.com with my phone, my IP will look for Google IP. So it is this Google IP that responds. So the internet service provider search for it. So you can see perfectly fine for computer. We human beings remembering so that. So these are IPs. Basically, when you see Google.com, Facebook.com, it's just a representation of those IP. We cannot remember this IP, so we are using what we call domain name. Domain name is just is a string of characters map that is used to represent IP. It's mapped to IP. So to make things easier for us to read, that's why we are using domain name. So it allows us to IP allows us to reach computers. So that each computer on the internet have their own IP. So that's how this ISP locates each computer, and then we are able to get what we want from each computer. So what are the telephone infrastructure that they are talking about? What are those telephone infrastructure? What are those telephone infrastructure? You hear about a telephone infrastructure, you hear about modem, see, this is it, radio mast and towers. These are the infrastructure. We call them base station. You can see, you see all these things that we see around us. Those are the infrastructure that will allow us to send and receive information on the internet. You see, these things are being provided by our internet service provider. It's called base station. They are called base station. So base station, you can see what's a base station. A base station have several elements. You can see. So any devices on the internet are able to share information on the internet due to this base station. You can see how does your mobile device work. The radio waves are part of the that travel at speed of light. Your mobile uses radio waves to transmit signals to a network of base stations. So what we mean by base stations are these base station. These are what we call base stations. So they have radio antenna, they have mast, they have cabinets. You can see these are radio antennas. These are the antennas that are attached to these what's it called? They are attached to these radio master. These base stations, we have radio antennas attached to them. They are the one in charge of sharing. They are the one in charge of sending and receiving signals. You can see transmit signal to network of base stations. So different base stations that we see that broadcast and share information for us are being provided by our internet service providers. You can see numerous. So they usually have many base stations. They usually have many base stations. You see, now there's something I want to tell you. You see, all these base stations, they are connected with cables, network of cables, fiber optic. Very expensive cable, very expensive cable. So you can see them now. Now this cable routes those information to a switching center. So all these our internet, they always have a switching center. Whether you have a MTN, Airtel, Glo, there's always a switching center. So that switch is like a router. Remember we talked about router the other time. That the jobs of a router is to share information from one computer to another. Now this there's another router that routes information for these I write information for this base station. We call them switching center that routes the electric signal back to your friends, your colleagues, anybody you want to share information with. So we call them core switching center. So you can see fiber optic. These are the cables, very expensive cable, transmitting information in the form of light, transmitting data in form of light. You can see covering world, Google and other big companies provide these optical fibers. They are being buried, some under the sea. Yes, under the sea. Just imagine. Some have to pass through the forest on top of high hill, just to make sure that these cables are being connected to different base stations. Cables are being connected from there. So we are having billions of cables, billions of cables that are connected to make sure that information are being sent from one base station to another. So from that base station, information is being sent to all of us in our mobile phone. So that's all for now, guys. Subscribe at the end of the video. I hope you learned something today. Thank you. Have a wonderful time.